So good afternoon, good morning. It's Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of our Loyalty360 Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to the brand leaders about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer, channel, and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Danielle Parra, who is the head of marketing for McAlisters Deli. McAlisters Deli is a full service restaurant, right? Try that again. I was ad-libbing off Tim's script.
Fast casual.
Fast casual.
But I will talk later how we're blurring the lines between those segments.
Okay. Let's try that again. Good afternoon, good morning. Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you to another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to the leaders in customer, channel, and brand loyalty about what they are seeing on the front lines. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Danielle Parra, who is the head of marketing for McAlisters Deli, which is a fast casual restaurant format with over 400 restaurants in 28 states. They serve sandwiches, nice spuds, salads, and of course, their amazing McAlisters Sweet Tea. I'm a member of the Sweet Tea program, and I go there quite often. So looking forward to the discussion today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. First off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and everything you do at McAlisters, and maybe a fun fact? Do you like kids? Do you like jumping out of planes? What a passion point of yours as well?
I don't know that I can top jumping out of planes, but absolutely. I'll be happy to tell you a little bit about myself. So I look out for marketing and culinary for McAlisters Deli, which means I get to do two fantastic things. One is spend a lot of time thinking about our guests and their experience and how we can continue to improve that. And then the second is really helping with our menu innovation pipeline focused on those very same customers. So it really is an incredibly creative job that also allows me to use my data and analytics background at McAlisters. And then for myself personally, I guess a fun fact, I have lived in multiple different areas in the country. So when people ask me where I'm from, they get a strange hesitancy, but it does not mean that I'm confused or not about to tell the truth. But when I was in the casino business and working for Petco, I was out on the West Coast. And then I originally am from Chicago area, so a little bit of the Midwest there. And then I went to school and now found myself back in the Atlanta area with Focus Brands and McAlisters Deli.
That's awesome. For those who are not familiar with McAlisters, can you talk a little bit about what you guys do, how you do it, and all that you offer?
McAlisters Deli was founded in 1989, and it's a brand that is truly deeply rooted in genuine hospitality. And in fact, one of McAlisters' beliefs is that great food in the right company nurtures the soul. And so that's a pretty big statement and something we take serious of really, how do we connect with our communities? How do we help people connect with each other? And one of the ways that we do that is actually through a very broad menu. So our menu is designed to have something for everyone, from McAlisters 13-layer club sandwich with our own unique blended honey mustard, to our giant spuds that you can customize and make your own, to, of course, a lot of traditional deli sandwiches, salads, and soups. And you mentioned it earlier, our world famous sweet tea, which is also a proprietary blend and unique to us. So that aspect of really being rooted in our communities, genuine hospitality, is hugely important to the McAlisters brand. From a size perspective, we're in 28 states. And actually this year, we will be proud to open our 500th location.
Wow, that's awesome. You launched your rewards program, I think, back in 2018. Can you tell us a little about the program, your goals for the program, and how you kind of keep the program up to date?
Absolutely. So loyalty is really a centerstone of the McAlisters brand. I mentioned that genuine hospitality. It's been embedded in our service model from the beginning. So we designed the loyalty program to really continue to build on that relationship with our customers. And one of those key aspects is choice. So you are rewarded for every purchase, whether that's digital, whether it's when you're dining in with us. And then as a customer, you get the choice as to how you redeem those rewards. So you can reach your first tier and go ahead and get a beverage. You can then have another tier where you could get an appetizer, a dessert, or a side, or you can go ahead and wait for free entree. So it's designed to give you choice and really to meet the customer where they are by allowing guests to earn points in all of our first party digital channels, as well as when they dine in with us.
Okay. I know you relaunched the app last year, February 2020, which is good time. I know the old app you made some pretty significant enhancements to it versus the old app, because as I go to McAlisters quite frequently. It used to be across the street from our old office. So pretty opportune timing with the relaunch in February as that everyone pushed to digital.
It was incredibly opportune. And, the team had been doing a great amount of work actually through 2019 to get ready for the app and loyalty program relaunch. And as you said, those went live in February of 2020, turned out to be incredibly important and really has made McAlisters pandemic resistant. So we were able to launch with a new app that allows guests to choose their own mode of service. So we quickly stood up curbside. You have a variety of pickup options. A lot of our locations have pickup windows, so you can order ahead and drive through and have that pretty contactless experience. And then we have continued to build on it since then. So we saw a tremendous increase really between 2019 and 2020. Our digital sales nearly doubled. A lot of that was because of the incredible power of the new app and its user experience. And then we've continued to build, since there to continue to give those guests those variety of choices. One relatively new addition as we continue to enhance that experience is table side dining. So during the pandemic, incredibly important to offer a variety of pickup options. And now as we're welcoming people back into the dining room, that very same new app experience allows you to skip the line, sit right down at a table, and have your food delivered to you in multiple courses. So without having to engage at the front register at all. So you skip the line and have that convenience, you skip that contact point, and you're being personally served at your table, first with your drink course, and then have your meal brought back out to you, and finally the table bust at the end of that dining experience. So our app is much more than a digital interaction point. We really see it as that intersection of the digital and physical world and coming back to that genuine hospitality and service.
Okay, excellent. I know one of your big promotions every year is your free tea day, where guests can show up to any participating location and receive, I think, a 32-ounce glass of your famous tea. That's quite a large promotion for you. Obviously, it's probably grown throughout the years. How did it come to being, and how much tea do you serve in an average year?
We just conducted our free tea day for this year. And as you can imagine, this is something that has built tremendously over the years. Customers have a true passion around free tea day. And so back to that digital and physical aspect, you can actually, as a guest on free tea day, order a tea digitally, come in from a dine-in perspective, and you get that free McAlisters world famous sweet tea or unsweet tea. And actually this year we included our flavor shots at no charge. So real fruit puree that you can add to the tea to kind of personalize your experience. So we sell we actually provide an incredible amount of sweet tea on free tea days. So this year, almost 140,000 teas we served, which when you translate that into gallons is 2,088 gallons of tea in one day served at McAlisters Deli.
That's a lot of tea. That's probably about a half of what I drink in a day. So that's good. I'm just kidding. So when you look at customer loyalty, it's very important to brands today. We have a large brand presence and growing, and we get together often and talk about customer loyalty, but it's also great to talk to individuals that we interview, understand kind of how they define customer loyalty, what it means to them. And so we'd love to know what customer loyalty means to you and your organization.
Loyalty and its definition, I think, is an incredibly important topic of conversation. For McAlisters, we define that as a relationship with our customers. So truly moving beyond transaction or even one-way service, but into a two-way relationship. So that obviously includes everything that we've built into our loyalty program, but the loyalty program is really just a way to manifest that relationship that we want to have with our guests on an everyday basis. And so when you think about how that looks when we have our team members engaging with our customers, one of the things that's important to the brand is a concept we call little something extra. And this is where we encourage everyone that interacts with the customers to go above and beyond, to create something that's their own and really help foster and nurture that relationship with the guest, whether it's maybe asking about their family, sharing how they participate in the local community, or going above and beyond with a surprise and delight in service. So for us, loyalty is a fundamental concept of the hospitality portion of being in the restaurant business. And so we continue to work on building those relationships and being centered on the guest. And so an incredible amount of loyalty really, I think, has to do with listening to your guest, with engaging them in that two-way dialogue, and then continuing to build and change your experience based upon what guests are telling you. And whether that's, overt suggestions or whether it's what you're learning when you're interacting with guests on a daily basis. But I would say our belief is that loyalty should be at the center of every business because it defines that customer experience, which is just incredibly important to the long-term health of a business.
You launched a digital app in February 2020. You obviously have some new tea programs that I'm part of that I've seen. How else are you looking to reward customers beyond just the transactions? What other things are you doing to reward your customers?
I love that you are a tea fan. So what you're describing with that program is called Tea Pass. So as we were listening to our customers, we saw obviously not only this incredible passion for tea, but really customers these days are looking for the opportunity to have value added to the experience and really be able to be rewarded. And so we designed the Tea Pass program to give an incredible value at a $6.99 price point. You get a tea every day for 30 days. So from a guest perspective, we're providing that reward for being a passionate tea consumer. And the really neat thing is you can come in and again, you can order that digitally. You can come in and swing by a location and you get 30 days of tea for that one low price point. And so that's an example of some of the things that we continue to design to help engage our most valuable guests.
Okay, that's awesome. So when you look at the technology you guys use, technology is a big challenge for a lot of marketers today, getting the right technology in place so you can engage that customer throughout the channel and throughout their journey. And what are some of the biggest challenges, maybe even opportunities that you see as a kind of a leader in the industry to leverage technology to enhance those personalizations and loyalty opportunities?
So one of the opportunities and challenges, and this is more broadly in the industry that I'd say exists with technology, is sometimes technology is approached for technology's sake. And I think the opportunity for all of us is to pivot that back and say, where can I add value in my customers' lives? And how does that map to the customer experience that I want to provide, which absolutely needs to be technology enabled, but you have to start with where can I add value to my customers' lives? So at McAlisters Deli, this is what led us down the path of creating that tableside dining experience I described earlier. Our customer insight was that, especially at our busy times around lunch, people disliked waiting in lines, and also that people are craving another level of service and also, recognition, a little bit of that personalization you mentioned. So we took those customer insights and then designed the technology experience around that. So assigning table numbers to each table and really moving beyond what's that traditional fast casual where you're used to coming in and ordering from a cashier, saying, let's turn that on its head. Let's let our guests come in, pick their own table, sit down, and then have a contactless ordering experience. It's really easy. Even if you're not yet a loyalty member, all you have to do is scan a QR code engage with the app, put in your table number, and again, you're served at the table and we can greet you by name. So now we're able to say, hey, Mark, welcome to McAlisters. Here's your tea and lemonade, and we'll be back shortly with your food. So putting the customer at the center of those technology decisions, I think, is incredibly important. And then the second part of that is being able to harness the data you get from that and be able to dialogue with your customers. So we have now over 1.5 million guests in our loyalty program. And one of the things we're doing from a technology and data enablement perspective is actively reaching out to those guests to help drive our menu innovation. So again, you connect something and you say, hey, I've got this great set of passionate fans who want to give us input on our business. Why don't we ask them about some of the menu innovation and flavor profiles that we're looking at? And we found that to be incredibly powerful as well. So it's another way to use technology to unlock and improve that guest experience. In that example of reaching out and asking for input on menu innovation, when we send surveys out, we see about a 15% response rate, and most of them within the first hour or two that we reach out and ask guests for their input on the menu. So, I think in summary, the challenge and opportunity is keep the guest at the center of what you do. Where can I add value, and designing the technology around that, and then finding creative ways to use the data and engage your customers in that two-way dialogue. It helps strengthen your business and make sure that you're really making decisions that will benefit your most valuable guests. And it also has that secondary benefit of turning guests into loyal fans.
Okay, great. Partnerships are something that's of greater importance today with brands, with privacy, some of the challenges with GDPR, CCPA, all kind of different challenges there. Google and Facebook kind of limiting cookies, or going to limit cookies in a couple of years. Just a lot of the challenges and changes with regard to privacy. There's a greater interest in partnerships. We see. And so is that something that your brands have a focus on, the focus brands that McAlisters may have a focus on? And if so, how are you looking at partnerships?
Partnerships are an extremely important part of our business, and they come to life in a variety of ways. So actually across the focus brand portfolio, there's natural collaboration and partnership. And so an example of that is in what we're able to bring to market for our guests. So right now at McAlisters Deli, we have kids pretzel dogs that are Auntie Anne's kids pretzel dogs. So it's a natural collaboration in a way to get overlap across those brands and really reach into the communities and create that collaboration. We've also done this multiple times with Cinnabon across the various focus brands. So at McAlisters, again, we're offering mini cookie sandwiches that are essentially an incredibly delicious stuffed Cinnabon cookie sandwich. And so we have those type of collaborations. Collaborations in another format for us come into community organizations. So because McAlisters brand is rooted in genuine hospitality, we deeply believe in being embedded in our communities and helping give back to our communities. So another form of partnership there is with organizations like Meals on Wheels, where we have a national partnership and things that we've done a variety of ways over the years to give back to that community and help feed others in the community. And then there's a variety of local partnerships that our franchisees have with charities in their particular area and town. So those type of partnerships are also important. And then you mentioned, in the digital space. And so clearly, we work within that digital ecosystem, whether it be Google and Facebook and others, and continuing to have partnership in the digital space. One of those areas in particular, we've recently launched our own TikTok channel. And so we're at the beginning stages of partnering with content creators and collaborators who have a passion for food. So partnerships, I think you have to find the right fit and have them going in multiple different areas because it is an important part of the business.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think partnerships are a growing area of interest, but having that synergy is very important. And brands, especially the members of Loyalty360, they want brands that have unique partnerships, right? Not mass partnerships. So one that has kind of that same demographic profile, the one that can be aligned on the brand perspective, But to your point, that can be very, very challenging and difficult to do for sure. So when you look at change of customers, everyone's talking about how customers are changing. They were talking about it before COVID. Obviously, COVID made some changes that may or may not be permanent. You know, we see kind of the reopening of stores leading back to some old behaviors kind of popping back up. You know, how do you think your customers are changing, and maybe in that fast casual QSR full service restaurant space? What are you seeing in that regard?
It's interesting, and you mentioned this, and depending on the research article that you cite, you see that customers have accelerated their digital adoption anywhere from 3 to 5 years as a result of the pandemic, and we absolutely see that within the restaurant business. And it was an incredible change where during the height of the pandemic, those locations and those businesses that had drive-throughs really benefited from the perspective of consumers still wanting to have an option to have their food prepared for them, but do that in a contactless way. And clearly dining rooms were closed. We also saw that digital adoption. So where people maybe didn't have some of these apps on their phones, really much more open to engaging with that. And in the restaurant space, you saw kind of a sea change where even in dine-in restaurants, even in full service restaurants, you saw such a change as an example of going to QR codes on the table instead of physical menus. Well, that just prompts, again, a level of adoption and customer change that really moves quickly and allows you to be where the customer wants you to be in that sense. And so when you think about those changes, that increased digital adoption really has allowed and really, I think, moved and encouraged restaurants to have multiple order options. So how can I meet the customer where they are for that particular purchase occasion? So McAllister is incredibly important to us. We went from before the pandemic 2 or 3 order modes to 8 through the course of the pandemic, because you have to give customers those choice. And in fact, they one time might want a quick pickup for their family, and another time, now that dining is coming back, they want to experience that. So I think that choice, I think the digital engagement are going to continue. I think customers looking for a next level of personalization is absolutely going to continue. One of the features we built into our app was to be able to save your favorite orders. I think that's really important from that convenience standpoint. And people are looking for that personalization. They're looking for convenience. And those aren't things that are going to go away. But I also think people now are looking for that human touch. And there's, a big push to be able to be back in, to be in person. And brands need to be there and be ready for that in a technology enabled way.
Okay, absolutely. When you look at the success of your customer loyalty, customer experience efforts, what KPIs do you and your team look at?
So one of the huge ones is guest satisfaction. I mentioned the importance of putting the guest at the center of everything you do. We're constantly looking at guest satisfaction measures, guest feedback measures. And so that's a more holistic measurement that we use for loyalty across the business. When you talk about the program itself, we're keeping an eye on how often does a customer visit us, their frequency. What are they purchasing from us? And again, are they engaging across several of those different order modes? And, it's an important part of our strategy to continue to educate guests that they have those choices available to them, because
Right.
we think it's so important to convenience.
Absolutely. And I think the last question we have for you is, what can Loyalty360 do to help you and your team with your customer loyalty journey?
Look, you guys provide such an incredible community of what I'll call loyalty and customer enthusiasts. So from my perspective, continuing to engage in dialogue, I think what you do every day to broker learning in the space, to bring together thought leaders, is a partnership that Focus Brands overall would love to continue with you and the organization and the other participants and companies in your network.
Well, thank you very much, Danielle. That's a great feedback on how things, or on some things that we should be looking to do. But it was very interesting to hear about what you guys are doing, how you're doing it, the focus you have on the customer, the genuine concern, I think, is evident in your voice, and it's not always evident in some of the people we speak to. So it was great speaking with you. And as I mentioned, big fan of McAlisters. They're once or twice a week. Love iced tea. And I think you're right. More organizations focus on the people that are passionate about iced tea, because that's the number one draw off. Where, one of the reasons I love Love's when I travel, I go out of the way to find a Love's, just because the iced tea is good. And you go to some entities that have horrible iced tea, and you're just like, wow. So at least that's me. And I know there are a lot of other people like us. So I know coffee's important, but iced tea is just as important.
Go, a tea fan, we'll take it. And you know what? Those signature menu items are super important. So for us, it's tea and our club and our spuds. But you're right. I think it's just an important piece to cultivate that customer love. And thank you for being what we call a tea freak.
That would be me for sure. And thank you everyone for listening, and look forward to having you back soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.